Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's video. I am excited about this because I think no matter what age you are, and really we're talking to like mostly women over 40 at this point. I wanted to have a chat with you and kind of discuss something that I think we've all gone through because we've all survived something. Either we have survived a really difficult divorce, we have survived being home with kids and raising them, we have survived early stages of motherhood, we have survived a career, being a homemaker. We've just gone through the trenches during maybe certain phases of our life. And after we go through certain phases, it's normal to feel absolutely exhausted and just kind of like pushing through life constantly. Your mind and your body at some point is not going to be in alignment. When you've spent years surviving something, that amount of pressure on you for an extended period of time, you're going to get really used to being in survival mode. And you probably don't even realize that some of the phases that you went through in life, you were just in survival mode. You were functioning, you were doing it right, you were surviving what it is that you were going through, but you weren't really living. You thought you were, but you weren't. Until afterwards, when you hit sheer exhaustion and you realize everything that you just went through, the battle that you just went through for so many years. Then you hit a phase where you start asking yourself, why am I so exhausted all the time? Nothing really feels exciting anymore. I know that I've changed and my life has changed, but I don't even know what I like, what my interests are. I don't know what I want next. Unfortunately, when you get to this place, it can be really scary. And I think perimenopause just really heightens it for us because we so don't feel like ourselves during this stage of life that to add in this also on top of it makes it really difficult. And if you talk to someone, maybe you talk to a friend, maybe you talk to a family member, maybe you go to therapy, maybe you talk to your doctor, a lot of people will tell you, well, you kind of sound depressed. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not depression. This is you being depleted for so many years. You have been running on adrenaline. You have been surviving. Your cortisol levels are through the roof. So once life started to kind of settle down, that's when everything starts coming to the surface. And this is where you just don't even know who you are anymore. Or you hit periods where you are extremely exhausted. And of course, the hormones aren't exactly helping the cause, but it's not fully just that. When we're talking about this kind of like midlife makeover, and that's really what this is all about now, is after going through what it is that you've been through, how do you start over? How do you reinvent yourself? Because when you go through, for example, narcissistic abuse, when you go through a really difficult divorce, you can go through anything difficult. Maybe being a stay-at-home mom was very difficult for you. It was exhausting. Maybe having the career that you've had so far has been exhausting. It's about not just emotional abuse or narcissistic abuse, it's about depletion. So we're not here to go back to who we used to be. We're here to really find ourselves again in a different way. It's about learning how to reconnect with who you are, what you like, be in more alignment with yourself, having better boundaries, not being a people pleaser, maybe healing some codependency stuff or some other wounds that are still stuck in you that you didn't really deal with in that previous situation, whether it was a relationship or whatever, that you still have to work on. This is also the phase of life where we start wondering, what makes me happy now? What do I want? What is going to fulfill me? How do I want my days to be? Who is this woman at this stage of her life? I think a lot of us can say that we survived something, now what? Or we survived something and now the survival mode is kind of coming up to the surface and we're dealing with the ramifications of what it is that we've been through. You survived everything, you got through it, you did it beautifully, but you don't feel like yourself anymore. And remember, the hormones aren't helping. And the reason why you don't feel like yourself anymore, aside from just hormones, put that aside for a second. It's really because when you're surviving and when you're living, those are using two totally different functions in your body and in your mind. When you are in survival mode, your nervous system is constantly on alert. You're just straight up running on cortisol and adrenaline. And I honestly did this for years and years and years, and I didn't realize it. Completely exhausted, but for some reason, I was able to keep going and keep going. That's because you are way stronger than you think you are, and you can handle so much. But you go through these experiences and you're going through it, but then afterwards, you're gonna have to deal with PTSD and all of those other things. So while you're going through difficult things that you've gone through in your life, you might think like, look at me go, like I'm handling this beautifully. And then 6 months later, it's like, oh my God, I can't get out of bed. I'm almost having a breakdown. And of course, this is always when everything has started to settle a little bit, where you feel out of sorts. You don't feel like yourself. You're super exhausted. All you were really doing was doing and fixing and managing. And that was all you just protecting yourself. You didn't really have the time to think about joy, to think about what I want, to be in alignment, to be super creative. And this is the stuff that no one talks about. Everyone talks about surviving something and getting through something, no matter what it is, but no one talks about the ramifications and what happens after that you still have to deal with. This is why you kind of feel like emotionally numb. This is why you feel like nothing really interests you. This is why you're constantly tired, no matter how much sleep that you get. You're unmotivated, you're disconnected, you don't know what you want, you don't even know how you feel most days. It very much sounds like someone who is depressed. Your body and your mind have just been stuck in survival mode for a really long time. Because when you're in survival mode, and it doesn't matter if you're in this phase of life and you're doing it for the good, meaning I'm a mom and I have all these kids and I've just been like rushing and going and forgetting about myself, or hey Steph, I went through a divorce like many years ago and you helped me through that, and now I just feel kind of like blah, like I got through it but I don't feel like myself and I am feeling like I am depressed. Is this depression? When you go through certain things where it has been about everyone else except for yourself, meaning the only way anything is really going to change is if you take accountability and responsibility, that even if it was something bad that you went through, like a really horrible relationship or a divorce, or something absolutely amazing, like being home with your babies and like being a stay-at-home mom for many, many years with a lot of kids and a lot of energy and stress, that both are going to affect your nervous system in pretty much the same ways, because it's your nervous system that really needs proof that you are safe again, that you can relax. Because what you're trying to practice now is how to slow down so you can feel safe again. This means creating small lists of things that you have to do in one day. You can have a full-on list of things that you want to accomplish or things that need to get done, but today is just going to be this small list, and I'm going to be very happy with just getting this accomplished. And one of the things on that list is going to be, how do I take care of myself today? And not feeling guilty for doing it. Now, we can't escape people. So one of the biggies that I've been talking about for years, and it's something that we're probably going to have to practice, is being able to respond to things and not always react to things. Another really big one that I know a lot of people kind of just like scroll past and they just like overlook it, but it is a huge factor in how you're going to feel. And that's going to be movement. Like, you have to move your body. This isn't about doing high intensity stuff anymore. I mean, if you're all for it, then go right to it. But I'm going to tell you, high intensity is not really going to help your nervous system to stay calm. This is just about getting your body to move where it's getting exercise, but it's a calming, relaxing thing. It's not anything that you're pushing yourself through. It's something that is ease. And as you get more comfortable with it, of course, you can accelerate it. But in the beginning, it's just about doing it and getting into the routine of doing it. But it's going to help you to feel more alive again versus just waking up and doing the same thing over and over again. Living in the day-to-day rat race of life that we live sometimes. One of the things for me that I really started practicing when I realized, okay, I really have to get my nervous system back in check because it is all out of whack right now, was I had to stop living like everything was an emergency. Not everything needed to be done right now. Not everything needed to be the most stressful thing in the world. You don't need to fix and control everything all the time. A person who views life in that way is a person who is stuck in survival mode. So you're going to start noticing when you're rushing yourself, when you're overthinking, maybe when you're over managing, maybe when you're trying to be too controlling. All of those things are just old signs of you being in survival mode. When you start feeling more calm in your life, where you start slowing down, you start making yourself a priority. I hate to tell you, but there's going to be times, a lot of times, especially in the very beginning, where it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel guilty for doing it. You're going to feel like you should be doing something else. You feel like someone else should be the priority and not you. It is going to not always be the easiest thing to put you first. It sounds like a very easy, basic thing. And I think that's why a lot of people overlook this kind of stuff, because they think, okay, yeah, I'm going to put myself first, but they don't. And not only do they not do it, but they also don't know how to parent themselves. They don't have healthy self-talk. They have they need to work on so many aspects of their own mental health, and they don't do anything because they overlook it thinking it's just like an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, because if it was, you would be doing it right now. This is really the heart of what we're going to be talking about on here, which is this like midlife makeover, where we're at this point in our lives and we all are stopping and pausing and we're reassessing, where are we? What work do I still need to do on myself? And honestly, like, what's next? Like, what do I want next for myself? Like, who am I at this stage of our life? Because this is really like a reinvention transitional period that I think we're all in, where we can always say, no matter what's going on, maybe you have some really great things going on in your life. Your career is amazing. You finally found a great partner, or you're so happy with your kids, and there's plenty of things that we're all grateful for. But if we're honest, chances are you are overworked, overtired, been over functioning, you're stressed, you're exhausted, you're feeling the signs of aging. Like, you have to slow down a little bit, and you need to stop and pause and be like, how can I take care of myself better than I have before? Because the last 20 years have probably been straight up go, 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 work, 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 fix, raise a family, have kids, get divorced, go through that, have to go to court back and forth with this crazy lunatic. And now you might be at a really great place where you're like, okay, I want what's next. Like, what is next for me? Maybe not. Maybe you're just starting a divorce process. We're all at different phases, but the midlife makeover is really the same for all of us. It's about reassessing where we're at and what we want next for our lives. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we made it. I was so afraid it was going to get pitch black out like mid-video, but we got through this. I think we honestly only have 2 more weeks left, and we're changing the clocks back. So these videos might be in my office going forward if we're not doing them in the middle of the day. But thank you guys for joining me. I hope you benefited from this video. I hope it gave you some insight. If you're interested in doing your midlife makeover with me, I will link everything down below. Excited to work with you. Excited for this next phase of life, and more to come on the channel. And I'll see you in next week's video. Take care, guys. Bye.